Chosen one, listen carefully. Everything around you seems ordinary. Yet heaven has just paused the clock. The scroll of your life has been opened for review. And this message, yes, this one is the divine interruption you were never meant to ignore. You have felt it in your spirit, the trembling in your chest when you scroll by a message like this, the sense that someone unseen is whispering, "Stop. This is for you." You are not lost in the noise of the world. You are being singled out by heaven. You are standing in the thin space between divine mercy and divine instruction. You've been moving fast, chasing deadlines, holding together the fragments of your days. But lately, there's been a stillness inside you that you cannot explain. Maybe that's why you stumbled upon this message at this exact second, because heaven wanted your attention. Let me tell you something. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. There are moments when God whispers and moments when He thunders. What you are hearing now is thunder clothed in gentleness, a warning spoken in love before the storm arrives. You've sensed it for a while, haven't you? The feeling that something is shifting in the unseen, dreams that won't leave you, random signs that seem to repeat, a strange heaviness when you try to do what used to feel easy. That is heaven's way of saying, "Wake up, my chosen one." There was once a young woman, a chosen one, much like you, who walked through a long season of waiting. She prayed, cried, and thought heaven had gone silent. She didn't realize that the silence was not absence, it was alignment. God was rearranging her surroundings for the mission she didn't yet see. And one morning, just like this, she felt prompted to stop scrolling. A message reached her, warning her to return to her calling before distraction stole her fire. She obeyed, and that single act of obedience opened doors no man could shut. You are standing in that same moment now. Every chosen one has a turning point, a night where heaven interrupts, where ordinary hours become sacred ground. This is your hour. The atmosphere around you is not just air, it is a battlefield of unseen voices. Some whisper, "You're tired. Rest a little longer." Others urge, "Stand up. This is your moment." The battle is not outside you, it's within your decisions. It is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 25. There is a way that seems right in a man's eyes, but its end leads to the way of death. These words are not ancient poetry, they are the pulse of heaven. Comfort can be a cage, and the easy path can become the slow fade of destiny. The warning you are hearing is not about fear, it's about clarity. Heaven is teaching you to discern the difference between what feels good and what is truly right. Imagine your heart as a compass in a storm. The wind howls, the waves roar. But if your compass breaks, every direction feels safe for a moment until it's too late. You must guard that compass. The Spirit is realigning your direction before a wrong turn becomes a permanent detour. Heaven's warning is not meant to frighten you. It's an invitation to focus, to return to the purity that once burned in you when you first felt God's touch. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to stand out like a lighthouse in a fog of compromise. The shaking in your life right now, the closed doors, the sudden losses, the people fading away is not punishment. It is pruning. It is God removing what can't go with you into your next season. Maybe you've been praying, "God, show me a sign." Here it is. This very message is your confirmation. You've been warned because you are loved. Pause. Breathe. Let the weight of this truth settle in your bones. You are known. You are seen. You are chosen. Heaven is not finished with you yet. The fire that seemed to die out, it's about to ignite. The prayers that felt unanswered, they've been ripening in silence. The strength you thought you lost, it's coming back, sevenfold. If this word stirs something deep within you, don't keep it to yourself. Tap the heart. Share this message so it can awaken another soul who's still asleep. And comment 777 below as your declaration that you hear heaven's warning and choose to obey. Because every move you make in obedience becomes a ripple in the unseen realm, and heaven watches. You have been set apart. That's why the path you walk has never looked like everyone else's. The rejection, the delays, the misunderstood seasons, they were not curses. They were the chisel in the hand of the Master, carving you into the vessel heaven required. You were never meant to fit in. You were designed to stand apart. You've wondered why others seem to move ahead while you remain in waiting. Why doors open easily for them, but stay locked for you. Yet what you didn't see was that God was not withholding, He was protecting. Protection often looks like isolation until revelation arrives. There's a holy loneliness that comes with being chosen. It's the silence between what was promised and what is revealed, the space where faith is tested in the shadows. In those hidden years, heaven teaches you obedience without applause, worship without platform, trust without explanation. Imagine the potter's wheel. Clay spins, pressed and reshaped under steady hands. To an untrained eye, it looks like destruction, but to the craftsman, it is precision. You are that clay spinning, stretching, reshaped for a purpose, too great to carry the cracks of the past. The pressure you feel is proof you are in divine hands. There was a young man once, much like you. His friends chased recognition, but he stayed behind, tending sheep on a forgotten hill. Night after night he whispered songs to heaven that no one heard. Yet one day, that hidden worshipper became the one who slayed giants. David's obscurity was not neglect, it was training. In your own way, you are standing on that same field. What looks like delay is preparation. What feels like silence is instruction. God has been sharpening your discernment, tempering your emotions, cleansing your motives, because the moment you are revealed, there will be no time to prepare, only to perform. Every chosen soul must walk through the furnace before carrying fire. That's why you've been misunderstood. That's why certain people walked away. They could not go where your anointing will take you. Their exit was not loss, it was mercy. You keep asking, when will my time come? Heaven answers softly. When your character matches your calling, every season of waiting polishes the unseen parts of you. The private battles, the quiet tears, the nights when you thought no one noticed, those are your credentials in the spirit realm. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. These ancient words still echo into your present moment. Waiting is not weakness, it is warfare. To wait is to trust God's pace over your own impatience. It's refusing to rush ahead of divine timing, even when your emotions scream for movement. There is beauty in the hidden place, like seeds buried under soil. You may feel forgotten, but heaven is working beneath the surface. Roots are forming deep, unseen, necessary. Without them, the bloom would not survive the storm. When others run toward applause, you are learning to run toward presence. While the world rushes to be noticed, you are being refined to carry something that cannot be imitated glory. The Spirit knows exactly what He is doing. He isolates to strengthen. He delays to develop. He conceals to protect. Every chosen one must pass through this holy wilderness where the voice of God grows louder than the noise of people. Do not despise the silence. It is there you learn the rhythm of heaven. It is there you discover that peace is not found in progress, but in presence. The stillness you feel right now is sacred. It's heaven's classroom. You've been asking why the road feels narrow. It's because the wide road would have diluted your purpose. God needed to trim your path so that your heart would stay pure. You are being prepared for influence that will demand integrity. Soon, you will understand why everything had to happen exactly this way. The betrayals taught compassion, the loneliness trained focus, the pain built endurance, and all of it has been leading you to a moment of divine unveiling. So rest your heart. Nothing has been wasted. The waiting is working for you, not against you. What feels like delay is the disguise of destiny. You are being refined in secret because the next chapter will be written in light. When the curtain finally lifts, the world will see not what broke you but what built you. Heaven's silence will be understood as strategy, and your waiting will become your witness. You didn't drift all at once. It happened quietly, one compromise at a time. One delayed prayer. One forgotten promise. You told yourself, "I'll return soon." Yet soon kept stretching until your fire dimmed to a flicker. Heaven saw it. The slow drift is the most dangerous form of rebellion because it wears the disguise of comfort. At first, it was harmless, a skipped devotion, a missed conversation with God. Then came distractions that looked harmless too, the late-night scrolling, the endless noise of other people's opinions. Bit by bit, your soul began to absorb the static of the world. What once convicted you now only faintly stirs your conscience. You used to tremble when you heard the voice of God. Now, it feels distant, like a song played in another room. But listen closely, it hasn't vanished. It's waiting for you to silence the noise long enough to hear again. There's a story of a young man once aflame with faith who grew weary of waiting for his promise. He surrounded himself with laughter that hid his emptiness. One night, while walking home under dim streetlights, he felt something break inside. He realized that though he still spoke of faith, he had lost the intimacy of it. That night, he fell to his knees and whispered, "Bring me back." From that moment, he began to walk toward restoration. Maybe you're standing where he once stood. The Father hasn't left. He's been watching your every step, waiting for the turn of your heart. The same arms that shaped galaxies are open for you right now. The Word of God declares in the book of Hosea, chapter 14, verse 4, "I will heal their backsliding, I will love them freely, for my anger has turned away from them." Oh, lo, those words are a mirror and a promise. God doesn't point at your distance to shame you, but to invite you closer. His correction is not rejection, it's restoration. The longer you wander, the louder mercy calls your name. Think of your spirit as a compass left in the rain. The needle still works, but it needs cleansing to point north again. That cleansing begins when you admit, "I've drifted," not with guilt, but with surrender. The drift doesn't define you. The return does. You may have felt your peace fading, your prayers losing power. It's because intimacy fuels authority. Without connection, your words lose weight in the spirit realm. But when you return, heaven reactivates what was dormant. You'll speak again, and mountains will move. This moment isn't about shame, it's about awakening. Heaven is calling you to remember who you are, not what you've done, but what you're called to carry. Do you remember how it felt when you first knew you were chosen? The electricity of purpose that made your heart race. That spark still lives inside you, waiting for oxygen. God's breath is that oxygen. Don't rush this part. Let conviction do its work. Conviction is the voice of mercy, wearing the tone of urgency. It says, "Come home before the light fades." Every chosen one has faced this crossroad. Some ignore it, believing they have more time. Others respond, and history remembers them as torchbearers of faith. You get to choose which story becomes yours. There's something sacred about turning back. When a soul repents, heaven throws a celebration so fierce that angels dance. Imagine that your return could set heaven rejoicing tonight. This is your invitation, not from me, but from the one who formed your heartbeat, the one who never stopped believing you would return. Comment, "Lead me back," below. Not as a performance, but as a prophetic act, a way of saying, "I refuse to drift further." Your words will echo through eternity, because every confession is a doorway. When you type those words, you're aligning your spirit with heaven's pull again. You are not beyond reach. You never were. The shepherd has left the 99 for you, and he will not stop until you're found. Let the drift end here. Let the return begin now. When you comment those words, it's not about being seen by others. It's about letting heaven hear your surrender. Every "lead me back" becomes a spiritual signature, marking the moment your heart turned toward home. The act may look small on earth, but it shakes foundations in the unseen realm. Because true repentance is not a single prayer, it's the beginning of new alignment. It's when your desires shift, your eyes refocus, and your heart starts beating in rhythm with heaven again. That's when strength returns, clarity follows, and the fog begins to lift. So don't rush past this moment. Let your heart linger in the silence after obedience. Feel the weight of mercy covering you again. You are not what you've done. You are what God is restoring. And right now, restoration has already begun. There is a sound heaven releases before mercy withdraws, a whisper that feels like wind brushing past your spirit. It comes softly, never shouting, because love warns before it walks away. You have felt that whisper before, in the unease that interrupts your sleep, in the quiet conviction after the wrong conversation, in the tears that come from nowhere. That's not emotion. It's mercy, still pleading. God's mercy is like morning dew, gentle, life-giving, and temporary. It lingers for a time, but when the sun of stubbornness rises, it evaporates. Many mistake the patience of God for permission. Yet the pause of heaven is never a pass to wander. The silence that follows divine warning is not peace. It is the distance created by ignored conviction. There was a prophet once who tried to run from his calling. Jonah believed that if he escaped the assignment, he could escape the voice. But mercy chased him across the waves, even into the belly of consequence. That's what mercy does. It follows you until you either turn or drown in your own resistance. You, chosen one, have been hearing that same whisper. It may come as discomfort, as a door closing, or as the sense that something sacred is slipping away. Heaven is tugging on you before hardness sets in. You are not being punished, you are being preserved. Mercy is not weakness, it's strength restrained. It's God saying, I still believe in what I placed inside you. But mercy has a rhythm it invites. It waits. And if ignored too long, it steps back, not in anger, but in sorrow. Think of a candle in a room filled with wind. The flame flickers hesitant. Fragile but still burns. That's mercy. It resists the gusts of rebellion for as long as it can, hoping you'll cup your hands around it before it goes out. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 4, do you not realize that God's kindness is meant to lead you to repentance? That verse is both a comfort and a warning. Kindness is not the absence of consequence, it's the invitation to avoid it. The longer mercy lingers unreceived, the closer judgment stands. God's heart breaks, not because you fail, but because you refuse His outstretched hand. You may not see the spiritual clock, but heaven measures time differently. Every warning ignored adds weight to the scale. Yet even now, mercy leans forward, hoping you'll turn. It's not too late, but every day of delay hardens what was once soft, and hearts that grow numb to conviction eventually stop hearing altogether. There was a king, Saul, who once carried the oil of favor, but pride deafened him to warning. When mercy withdrew, the throne remained, but the anointing was gone. He still looked like a king, but heaven had already moved on. That is the most dangerous place a chosen one can reach to, still look powerful while carrying no presence. Do not let your story echo his. The Spirit still hovers near, not to accuse, but to awaken. You've been feeling that pull, haven't you? That tension between comfort and calling. It's mercy trying to reach you one last time before correction must take its course. Heaven is patient, but it is not passive. God's love is fierce enough to discipline, wise enough to wait, and holy enough to withdraw when refused. Yet even when mercy steps back, grace leaves a door open. The soft voice you've been trying to silence, that's the same voice that once saved you from destruction. The unease you call anxiety may be heaven trying to shake you, awake before your heart calcifies under convenience. There's a moment in every chosen one's journey when God stops explaining and starts expecting. That moment arrives when you already know what must change, yet still hesitate. It's not new revelation you need, it's courage to obey what's already been revealed. Mercy's final whisper is this: come back before what's optional becomes irreversible. The longer you delay, the more you risk losing sensitivity to His presence. The tears that come easily now may not always flow. The conviction that stings now could one day fade into silence. So while the whisper still echoes, respond not with words, but with movement. Change something today. Turn off what drains your spirit. Step away from what dulls your discernment. Guard what remains, because mercy still covers you, but not forever. Heaven's voice is still near, hovering like light before dawn. It calls your name with both tenderness and urgency. The question is no longer whether God will speak again, but whether you will listen before He stops needing to. Mercy is knocking. Don't let it become memory. Wake up. Mighty warrior, you've been walking through shadows, but heaven still calls you by your strength. not your struggle. The same hands that shaped the mountains are now shaking your shoulders, urging you to remember who you are. You've been asleep too long in a war that demands awareness. It's time to rise. You are not fragile. You are forged. The fires that were meant to destroy you have instead purified you. The attacks you faced were not random. They were proof that hell saw your potential before you did. That's why the pressure has been so intense. Heaven never trains a soldier for small battles. You were built for this moment. When you speak, the atmosphere shifts. When you pray, darkness trembles. Yet lately, you've forgotten your voice, haven't you? You've let weariness replace worship. You've allowed comparison to steal your courage. But inside you, the Lion of Judah still roars. Think of an old sword hanging on a wall, dusty, dull, forgotten. The master blacksmith sees it, takes it down, and begins sharpening its edge again. Every strike of the hammer looks harsh, but it's restoration, not punishment. You are that sword. Heaven has begun striking again, not to hurt you, but to make you effective once more. According to what is revealed in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That promise wasn't written only for soldiers on ancient battlefields. It was written for every chosen one facing invisible wars. The courage God demands is not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep moving through it. You've been through heartbreak, loss, betrayal, yet here you are, still standing. That's proof of divine resilience. Every scar is evidence that God has preserved you for a greater fight, the one for your purpose. The world needs your voice now more than ever. There are hearts waiting to be awakened by your obedience. When you rise, others rise with you. You are not just surviving, you are paving a path for the ones behind you. That's why this space exists, to carry light to every soul still wandering in the dark. Every word you hear here is a spark, meant to remind someone like you that they still matter. Now, listen carefully. This isn't pressure. It's invitation. If these words feed your spirit, if they lift you when the world feels heavy, then consider helping this mission continue. Think of it like adding oil to a lamp. Every drop helps the flame burn brighter, reaching places you may never go yourself. Your support, through a quiet click to like or share, is like opening a window for the light to escape this room and travel farther. Every time you share, it's as if you're handing another soul a torch in the dark. And when you subscribe, see it not as following a channel, but as joining a watchtower of believers, standing shoulder to shoulder, keeping the light alive until dawn breaks. If your heart feels moved, you can even sow a seed, donate as a gesture of gratitude and faith. Picture it as laying one small stone on the path of light. Each offering, no matter how small, becomes a silent prayer saying, "Let this message reach one more soul." No one is watching. No one is keeping score. This is not obligation, it's overflow. Giving is never about meeting needs. It's about multiplying impact. You're not funding words, you're feeding flames. The generous spirit is like rain falling on dry ground, unseen at first. But soon life begins to bloom where it touches. That's what your gesture becomes, a drop that turns into a river of hope. And if all you can give today is your attention, your time, or your prayer. Know this: heaven receives that too. Every heart that listens with faith is already part of this mission. You, mighty warrior, are part of something sacred. You're not a spectator, you're a co-builder of light. This movement isn't sustained by pressure, it's sustained by love. By people like you who quietly say, "I believe this light should keep burning." So rise, keep the lamp trimmed, stand in your place of purpose. The battle is real, but so is your power. Heaven calls you by your true name, warrior of light, and as long as you breathe, the fire will not go out. So keep shining. Even when no one applauds, heaven records every flicker of your faith. What begins as a small flame here may one day become a wildfire of awakening across nations, and it will all trace back to your quiet yes. The hidden traps of distraction rarely look like danger. They come wrapped in comfort, disguised as harmless pleasure, or even as good intentions. The enemy rarely attacks your destiny with chaos. First, he begins by dulling your focus. You've felt it, haven't you? The constant pull of noise, the endless scroll, the urge to check your phone before you pray, the invisible pressure to perform instead of just be. You promise yourself 5 minutes and lose an hour. The spiritual attack of this age doesn't always come as storms. Sometimes it comes as notifications. Distraction is the slow thief of destiny. It doesn't destroy your purpose overnight. It drains it 1 minute at a time. The devil doesn't need to make you bad, only busy. When he can't kill your anointing, he'll crowd it until you can't breathe. There was a young man, a creative soul, full of promise. God gave him ideas that could have changed lives. But every time inspiration came, distraction followed. Endless scrolling, comparison, noise. Years passed, and his potential rusted in the attic of procrastination. One day he realized his dream hadn't died. It had been smothered under distractions he once called harmless. And you might be that person right now, brimming with divine fire, but surrounded by static. The enemy knows he can't steal what God has given you, so he keeps you busy enough never to use it. Scripture says in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 41, "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one." That verse isn't ancient rebuke, it's current diagnosis. The Lord wasn't scolding Martha for working. He was warning her that even good things can become distractions when they replace intimacy. Distraction is subtle. It doesn't ask you to rebel, only to delay. It says, "You'll pray later. You'll start tomorrow." Yet tomorrow rarely comes, and your spirit grows dull while the world applauds your busyness. Think of your mind as a garden. Every notification, every needless worry, it's like throwing seeds of weeds into that soil. Before long, the roots of distraction choke the fruit of discipline, but the Spirit is calling you back to simplicity, to stillness. Heaven is teaching you that silence is not emptiness. It's the place where revelation begins. You've been wondering why it's been hard to hear from God. Sometimes it's not that heaven is silent, it's that your room is too loud. The world keeps telling you to keep up, while heaven is whispering, slow down. Imagine a radio tuned to too many stations. You can't catch the frequency of heaven until you silence the others. That's what fasting from distraction looks like, not just food or habits. But noise. Every moment you reclaim from distraction is a declaration of authority. You are saying, "You no longer get to waste my time. Because time is sacred currency, you spend it. You never earn it back." If you knew what God was about to release through you, you'd guard your attention like treasure. The ideas, the healing, the influence, it's all waiting behind your focus. The season ahead will require spiritual discipline, not rigidity, but rhythm. You'll need to wake with intention, move with purpose, and guard the gates of your mind. The enemy can't enter where focus is fortified. This is not about abandoning the world, it's about mastering it. Technology isn't evil, it's just too loud. The Spirit is teaching you to use it as a tool, not a master. And now, heaven is calling you to mark this shift, not with words, but with a sign, a number. Comment 333 below. It's not superstition, it's symbolism. It represents divine alignment, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, walking in unity within you. When you write it, you're saying, "I come back into harmony. I choose balance. I choose focus." The act of commenting that number is like drawing a line in the sand. It's your quiet declaration that the noise of the world no longer owns your attention. Every time you see 333, remember this covenant. Let it whisper to your spirit. Stay centered. Stay clear. Stay connected. So breathe deeply. Turn down the volume. The world may chase noise, but you will chase presence. And in the stillness, heaven will speak again. And when heaven speaks, it won't be through thunder. This time it will be through peace. That inner calm you feel after choosing silence, that's not emptiness. That's God filling the space distraction once owned. So, guard that peace. Protect it like sacred treasure. Because the moment you honor stillness, revelation begins to flow again. There are seasons when heaven goes silent, and even the strongest souls feel forgotten. You pray, but the words fall flat. You worship, but the air feels thick. You look around, and everything that once made sense suddenly feels distant. You ask, "Where are you, God?" But the heavens stay quiet. That silence, painful as it is not abandonment. It's an invitation into maturity. Every chosen one walks through this valley where God hides, not to punish, but to purify. He withdraws the comfort of His presence so that you'll seek Him, not His blessings. Silence has purpose. It exposes what noise has hidden. When the miracles fade and the feelings vanish, what remains is the question, do you love Him? Or just what He gives you? Think of a teacher during an exam. The classroom is quiet, not because the teacher has left, but because the test has begun. In the same way, when heaven grows still, it doesn't mean God is gone. It means He's watching what you've learned in the light and how you'll live it in the dark. In these silent seasons, emotions can betray you. You begin to question your worth, your calling, even your identity. But remember this, silence does not mean rejection. It means graduation. Heaven trusts you enough to stop holding your hand. There was a woman once, a faithful worshipper, who went through years of divine silence. Her prayers for healing seemed unanswered, her dreams delayed. Yet she kept showing up, singing through tears, believing through emptiness. One day, She realized the silence had changed her voice. It carried more weight, more truth, more depth. When God finally spoke again, He didn't have to restore her faith because the silence had built it. That's what's happening to you now. Heaven is shaping your faith into something unshakable. When God feels far, it's often because He's closer than ever, working beneath the surface, rearranging what you can't yet see. It is written in the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10, "But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I will come forth as gold." On those words hold an eternal pattern, testing before shining. Every goldsmith knows that gold doesn't glitter until it's refined by fire. You are in that refining now. The silence is the heat that burns away dependency, leaving only devotion. There's beauty in this kind of stillness. It teaches you to recognize God's presence beyond emotion, to know Him by faith, not by feeling. When you can't sense Him yet, still choose to trust. That's the purest form of worship. The quiet seasons strip away noise and reveal truth. They show you which voices were never meant to guide you. They pull you away from the crowd until your heart beats in rhythm with heaven's heartbeat again. It's in this stillness that you begin to see life differently. You stop rushing. You stop demanding. You start hearing whispers between the silence. You realize that faith isn't loud, it's steady. Sometimes, God removes every voice just to remind you how to hear His again. He's teaching you to walk by trust, not by signs. Because when you can remain faithful in silence, you prove to heaven that your loyalty isn't borrowed from comfort, it's born of conviction. Imagine a seed buried deep in the soil. It's dark, quiet, and isolated. To the seed, it feels like burial, but in truth, it's beginning. That's what your silence is, the soil of transformation. You're not being buried, you're being planted. You will look back and thank God for this silence. You'll realize it kept you from voices that would have weakened your spirit. You'll see that every unanswered prayer was protection, not neglect. In the quiet, heaven writes in invisible ink. Later, when the light returns, you'll see the words that were written all along: lessons, strength, purpose. The story was unfolding even when you couldn't read it. So, if heaven feels silent tonight, don't despair. The silence means you're trusted. You've reached a place where faith must stand alone. Unasisted. The silence is not empty. It's full of instruction waiting to be revealed in time. Hold your peace. Keep walking. Keep showing up in prayer, even when you feel nothing. For one day, the silence will break, not with thunder, but with clarity, and you'll understand that God was never distant. He was closer than your breath, shaping you through stillness. When that day comes, you'll emerge, not the same person who entered the silence, but one who glows with quiet power, the kind of strength that only comes from surviving a season where heaven whispered nothing, yet you believed anyway. There comes a moment when every chosen one stands at a crossroads, the place where obedience and rebellion meet. You can feel it in your spirit, even before the decision is clear. The air becomes heavy. Your heart wrestles with itself, and every path looks possible. Yet deep down, you already know which one carries peace. This is not just another decision, it's a defining one. The choice you make in this season will shape more than your future. It will echo into eternity. Heaven has placed you at this intersection for a reason, because destiny always demands a decision. The crossroads of choice is not a road sign in the natural, it's a tension in the soul. It's that quiet moment between I want and I will obey. Sometimes it's disguised as opportunity, other times as temptation. The two often look identical until the fruit appears. You've been here before, feeling torn between comfort and calling, between what's easy and what's eternal. The easy path offers applause, quick results, and no resistance. The narrow path offers peace, purpose, and the approval of heaven. Only one of them leads to life. Obedience has always been the language of love. God doesn't test you to break you. He tests you to prove the strength of what He's already placed within you. You've asked for purpose, for favor, for open doors. But those gifts cannot exist apart from obedience. The door to destiny only opens with the key of surrender. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Oh, this verse has never been more real than it is right now. Life and death are not just physical realities, they are spiritual consequences that unfold through daily choices. To choose obedience is to choose alignment. To delay obedience is to choose slow decay. Think of it like a compass that needs constant recalibration. Every act of obedience realigns your direction toward destiny. Every compromise, no matter how small, turns you a few degrees away. And if you walk long enough in that slight misalignment, you'll end up miles from where you were meant to be. There's a story of a man named Eliab, a talented leader, admired by many. Yet he carried pride that went unnoticed. God gave him an opportunity to humble himself and serve beneath another's vision. But he chose independence instead. Years later, he watched the one he was meant to support rise in the very calling he forfeited. His talent was never the issue. His obedience was. You see, destiny is not decided by gifts, it's decided by surrender. Gifts can take you to a platform, but only obedience can keep you there. That's why the Spirit keeps tugging at your heart, reminding you not to delay anymore. The crossroads always feel uncomfortable because obedience costs something. It will cost your pride, your convenience, sometimes even relationships. But what you lose in comfort, you gain in clarity. The weight lifts the moment you choose right, even if the path remains hard. God is not asking for perfection, He's asking for posture. The posture of humility that says, even if I don't understand, I will still obey. That kind of surrender terrifies the enemy because obedience creates spiritual authority. The moment you obey, heaven moves. If you could see what stands on the other side of your obedience, you'd run toward it without hesitation. Every delay is a distraction designed to make you doubt what God already told you. The enemy's most effective weapon is not temptation, it's hesitation. You know the decision waiting before you. It might not look dramatic to others, but heaven knows its weight. It could be the call you've been avoiding, the habit you know must end, the act of forgiveness that feels impossible. Whatever it is, this is your crossroad moment. Do not let fear disguise itself as wisdom. Fear says, "What if it fails?" Faith replies, "What if it's the very thing that changes everything?" Heaven honors motion, not paralysis. And when you finally choose, peace will follow. Not the fleeting peace of comfort, but the deep peace that settles when your will aligns with God's. That peace is proof you've chosen life. So stand at your crossroads with courage. Look not at the size of the sacrifice, but at the strength of the one who calls you. You're not choosing blindly. You're choosing with divine guidance, whispering, "This is the way. Walk in it." When you step forward in obedience, heaven shifts in your favor. The ground you feared will become the place of your breakthrough, and you'll realize the crossroads were never meant to confuse you. They were meant to crown you. Before the crown, there must be the breaking. Every chosen one faces this moment when everything you thought you understood begins to shatter. You've prayed, you've believed, and yet the very thing you hoped God would protect has been allowed to crumble. You wonder if heaven heard you at all. But listen carefully. Breaking is not the end, it's the birthplace of becoming. Gold cannot be formed until the ore is crushed. Olive oil doesn't flow until the fruit is pressed. Even wine must first endure the breaking of the grape. What looks like destruction is often divine extraction. God is drawing out of you what comfort could never produce. You see, strength that's never tested remains fragile. Faith that's never shaken remains shallow. The breaking you're facing is heaven's way of proving what's real and removing what's not. There was a man once who loved God deeply, yet everything was taken from him in a single season: his security, his reputation, even his closest friends. But in that breaking, he found a new version of himself, one no storm could move again. That man was Peter, and after his failure, his tears became the foundation of his calling. Maybe you, too, are in that place, where prayers sound like echoes, where your best effort still feels unseen. But the silence and the shaking aren't punishment, they're purification. The ancient words recorded in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 11, remind us, no discipline seems pleasant, but painful for a time. Later, it brings righteousness and peace to the trained. God's hand doesn't break to destroy it, breaks to rebuild. The fragments of your life aren't wasted. They're being rearranged into something greater than before. What feels like collapse is actually construction. Think of pottery in the hands of a master. If a vessel cracks, the potter doesn't throw it away. He crushes it into dust, mixes it with new clay, and begins again. That's what God is doing with you. The breaking is His mercy. It ensures no impurity remains hidden in the foundation of your next season. There's beauty in surrendering to the process. When you stop fighting the breaking, you make room for new strength to rise. Every tear becomes oil for your next anointing. Every wound becomes wisdom that will one day heal others. It hurts, yes, but this is the kind of pain that produces power. God is exchanging your comfort for capacity. He's stretching you so you can carry what's coming. The weight of destiny requires a heart that's been broken enough to stay humble, yet healed enough to stand firm. Some of your greatest prayers are being answered in disguise. You asked for strength, so He allowed weakness to teach you dependence. You asked for clarity, so He removed what blurred your vision. You asked to be used, and He broke what would have made you fragile under pressure. The breaking season always comes before the building season. Don't curse the hammer, it's the tool of your making. When you look back, you'll realize that the pain was precise. Every blow had purpose. Every loss made space for something eternal. And what felt like being buried was actually being planted. Right now, you may feel pieces falling away, dreams, relationships, even parts of yourself. but trust the potter's hands. He's not done shaping you. This is the moment your faith graduates from surface to substance. The breaking is not your ending, it's your unveiling. When the dust settles, what will rise from the fragments will carry the fragrance of heaven itself. So let the breaking do its work. Don't rush it. Don't resist it. The same hand that breaks is the one that will bless. Comment, I'm still here. Say it not as defiance, but as declaration. It means, I may be broken, but I'm breathing. I may be pressed, but I'm not crushed. When you write those words, you testify that even in breaking, faith endures. Because heaven isn't looking for the unbroken. It's looking for the ones who stayed when everything else fell apart and still whispered, God, I trust you. Hold steady. The breaking will end, but what it births will never fade. So when you type those words, I'm still here, you're not just commenting, you're prophesying your survival. You're engraving your faith into eternity's walls. Heaven reads it as a roar, not a whisper, because resilience speaks louder than perfection ever could. Let this truth anchor you. Survival is not small, it's sacred. Every breath you take after breaking is worship. Every step forward is warfare. You don't just endure, you evolve. The storm never silenced you. It sculpted you into strength the world can't explain. The reawakening of purpose doesn't begin with fireworks. It begins with a whisper, somewhere between heartbreak and hope. You start to feel it again, that faint stirring in your chest, that holy restlessness reminding you there's still more. You thought the story was over, but heaven never closed the book. The ink was only drying between chapters. This is the part where God begins to rebuild what life tried to bury. Not by giving you back what you lost, but by awakening who you've become. The version of you emerging now is wiser, deeper, and less afraid. You no longer chase applause, you chase assignment. The season of breaking stripped you of noise, and now purpose rises from the quiet. What once felt like failure becomes fertilizer. What once looked like endings now reveals itself as redirection. Heaven wastes nothing, not your tears, not your pain, not even the moments you regret. Every fragment is being repurposed into destiny. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope. That promise isn't just comfort, it's a compass. It reminds you that even when the map looks blank, heaven still knows the way. You were never wandering, you were being rerouted. Purpose doesn't return all at once. It awakens like dawn, soft at first, then stronger with every act of obedience. Each time you forgive, each time you speak light instead of bitterness, a new sunrise breaks within you. The world may not see it, but heaven does. Think of your life like a garden after winter. For months, everything looked dead, but underneath, roots were weaving deeper, preparing to bloom again. That's your soul, right now, hidden growth, unseen but alive. God's not just restoring what was, He's multiplying what will be. And this message, this space, this moment, it exists for that very awakening. Every word spoken here is a seed. Some land on weary hearts, others on waiting soil, but all are meant to bloom into purpose. That's why this isn't just a message, it's a mission. It's light traveling through words, finding souls who almost gave up. And if you're one of them, then you already know something inside you is stirring again. Now, if this word touches you, take a quiet moment to respond. When you like this message, it's not just a click, it's like lighting a small candle in a cathedral of faith, letting heaven see that one more light has come alive again. Then, if it resonates deeper, share it, not as routine, but as release. Imagine sending out a floating lantern into the dark night, its glow, finding another heart that thought the dawn would never come. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not for numbers, but for nearness. Think of it as joining a circle around a campfire. Every new flame adds warmth. Every presence makes the light brighter. Subscription isn't following a page. It's stepping closer to the fire that keeps your spirit awake. Now, there's one more way to be part of this journey. Donate, not from duty, but from desire. Imagine this channel as a lighthouse standing at the edge of stormy seas. Every gift you give is another brick laid, another beam strengthened, another light that won't go out when night falls. You're not paying for words, you're building a home for hope. Your giving isn't obligation, it's orchestration. Ich Contribution, no matter how small, becomes a note in heaven's melody of restoration, and every note counts. Even if today all you can give is your time or your prayer, know this: heaven measures value not by size, but by sincerity. Every silent amen, every quiet thank you is seed in sacred soil. Because this is what purpose does. It doesn't just rise in you, it rises through you. You're not just the listener, you're the continuation. So, breathe again, believe again, build again. The ashes of yesterday have already turned into tomorrow's foundation. Your like is light, your share is torch, your subscribe is fellowship, your donation is brick and fire combined. Together, we are rebuilding what darkness thought it buried forever. And now, your purpose stands awake, burning, unafraid. Heaven is not done with you. Heaven is moving through you. And when you step back and look at the light we've built together, you'll see something holy. It's not mine or yours, but ours, a mosaic of faith, glowing through every act of kindness, every spark of generosity, every soul that dared to believe again. So keep the flame alive. Let your light mingle with others until the night itself becomes beautiful. Because purpose isn't a solo fire, it's a wildfire of awakened hearts. There is a sacred strength in reverence. When the fear of God returns to a heart, everything changes. Not fear as the world defines it, paralyzing or cruel, but awe that humbles you. Awareness that you are standing before majesty itself. In this generation of noise and pride, the fear of the Lord is the missing treasure, the forgotten key to wisdom. You've felt glimpses of it before, that holy stillness that comes when His presence fills the room. Your breath slows. Words fail. You can't scroll, can't move, can't even think of anything else but Him. That is not emotion. It is awareness. It's the soul remembering its Creator. This is what heaven is restoring in you now. Reverence that produces obedience, awe that gives birth to alignment. You have known love, but now you must remember holiness. Love draws you close. Holiness teaches you how to stay. There was a time when people trembled at the mention of God's name. not out of terror, but out of honor. They knew that the one who spoke galaxies into motion also listened to their prayers. Somewhere along the way, comfort replaced reverence. God became a concept instead of the consuming fire. He is, but the Spirit is rekindling that sacred fear in His chosen ones, starting with you. It was proclaimed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. End of Cam. That verse is not a threat, it's an invitation. True wisdom begins not in intellect, but in humility. The fear of God is not about trembling under punishment, it's about trembling under love. So pure, it exposes everything false within you. When you truly revere Him, compromise loses its flavor. Sin stops being wrong and starts being unthinkable. You no longer ask, "How much can I get away with?" Instead, you whisper, "How close can I stay?" This is the kind of fear that anchors your spirit in chaotic times. It guards you from pride, from self-will, from drifting into numbness. Reverence is the shield of the chosen one. Think of Moses before the burning bush. He was not terrified, he was undone. God didn't ask for sacrifice or performance. He said, "Take off your shoes, for the place where you stand is holy ground." That's what the Spirit whispers to you now. Remove what's common. Approach with awe. You're standing on sacred soil. To fear God rightly is to live aware that every breath is borrowed, every heartbeat sustained by grace. It's to understand that the same God who walks with you as friend also reigns as King. That tension between intimacy and majesty is where worship becomes real. You may wonder why this matters now. In an age that celebrates self above all else, it matters because reverence keeps you anchored when applause fades. It keeps motives clean when influence grows. Without it, even blessings become idols. The fear of the Lord doesn't rob you of joy, it deepens it. It turns laughter into gratitude, success into stewardship, and power into service. It reminds you that everything you have, even purpose itself, is holy trust, not personal achievement. Inquiet reverence. Pride bows low, and wisdom rises. When you acknowledge His greatness, your worries shrink to proper size. The storms that once terrified you now seem small under His sovereignty. There's a reason angels cover their faces in His presence, not because He's cruel, but because His glory is too perfect to bear fully. That same glory rests upon your life. Though often unseen, when you carry reverence, you carry a piece of heaven's atmosphere wherever you go. So let this be your reminder. Reverence isn't ancient, it's essential. It turns religion into relationship, and relationship into revelation. God is drawing you back to that place, not to scare you, but to steady you. He wants you to live aware that every step is seen, every word matters, every decision echoes beyond this life. When you live like that, peace follows naturally. You no longer need control, because awe replaces anxiety. You trust not because life is easy, but because you've glimpsed the one who holds it. In this holy awareness, you see clearly again. Reverence doesn't make you smaller, it reminds you you were never meant to carry divinity on your own shoulders. You can finally rest, knowing He is God and you are loved. So, breathe in that reverence. Let it return to your heart like the first note of a forgotten song. The fear of the Lord is not the end of freedom, it is the beginning of wisdom. the doorway to peace, and the safest place you'll ever stand. When purpose begins to reawaken, heaven often sends confirmation, not through thunder, but through threads, subtle signs that seem ordinary, yet arrive at impossible timing. A phrase that repeats in a stranger's voice, a verse that appears twice in one day, a door that opens the moment you finally stop forcing it. You call it coincidence, but heaven calls it coordination. You are living inside divine orchestration. The Spirit has been weaving threads around you long before you realized it. Every delay, every detour, every unanswered prayer has been positioning you for this moment of unveiling. The proof has always been around you. Now your eyes are simply ready to see it. Maybe you've noticed the same number showing up, the same name echoing in dreams, the same song resurfacing when you least expect it. These are not accidents, they're alignments. Heaven is confirming that what you've been sensing is real. God knows you've doubted. You've asked, was that really you, Lord, or just my thoughts? But the repetition isn't random, it's reassurance. The voice of God rarely shouts. It whispers, again and again, until recognition replaces confusion. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. Those aren't just instructions, they're rhythms. When you ask, heaven answers through patterns. When you seek, heaven highlights what's already been prepared. When you knock, the doors open, not by coincidence, but by design. There was a woman once exhausted, uncertain, praying for a sign that God still remembered her. One morning, while scrolling aimlessly, she saw a message that felt written for her heartbeat. It said exactly what her soul had whispered the night before. Tears filled her eyes, not from shock, but from recognition. She understood. Heaven had found her. That same orchestration is happening right now. You didn't stumble on this message. It was delivered. Heaven scheduled this moment before you knew you needed it. The reason it resonates so deeply is because your spirit already heard it in eternity. It's simply being echoed into time. Divine confirmation always feels familiar because truth recognizes itself. It doesn't argue. It awakens. When heaven confirms something, peace follows, even before understanding does. You stop striving to control outcomes because you realize you were never walking alone. Look back for a moment. Remember the detours that once frustrated you, the relationships that ended abruptly, the job that fell apart right before something better appeared. That was divine choreography. Heaven was rerouting you to promises you couldn't see yet. Sometimes confirmation isn't about the answer, it's about assurance. It tells you that heaven is near, even if the outcome isn't yet clear. It's God's way of saying, keep walking. You're still on the right road. There's beauty in learning to read these signals. They won't always look spiritual. Sometimes they come through people, art, moments, even silence. But your spirit will recognize their origin. The same peace that once found you in prayer will find you again in ordinary moments, because the divine is always hiding in the simple. You are entering a season where confirmation will come quickly. Words spoken years ago will suddenly resurface. Promises that felt forgotten will start aligning without your effort. You'll realize that what you thought was delay was simply divine timing. And in this sacred moment, heaven invites you to mark your recognition. Comment, Ma verchat Isra, below. It's not superstition, it's symbolism. This number represents oneness, unity between your will, God's purpose, and heaven's plan. It means alignment, mind, spirit, and destiny walking as one. When you type 111, you're not just leaving a comment, you're declaring, "I am in sync with heaven." It's a prophetic act, a quiet seal of agreement that your path, your purpose, and your peace have reconnected. The number stands for beginnings, fresh alignment, a divine reset where confusion turns into clarity. Each time you see 111 afterward, let it remind you, you are not lost. You are being led. Heaven is not distant, it's deliberate. The repeated signs, the small whispers, the impossible timing, all of it is proof that your life is still in divine hands. So keep your eyes open. The next door, the next word, the next unexpected moment, they won't be random. They'll be reminders. God is still writing, still guiding, still confirming. And when you see 111, remember what it means. You are aligned, you are chosen, and you are exactly where you're meant to be. To carry glory is to carry weight. Every chosen one who walks with divine purpose learns this truth. The brighter the light, the heavier the responsibility. Glory is not a crown made of gold, it's a mantle woven from obedience, endurance, and humility. And those who wear it must first be strong enough to bear it. You may have wondered why your road has been lonelier than most. Why? You've had to release people you loved, decline opportunities that looked perfect, or walk paths few understand. It's because the glory you're destined to carry cannot rest on shallow foundations. God has been reinforcing your soul to handle what He's about to place upon you. Glory is not about fame, it's about function. It is not the applause of men, but the approval of heaven to the world. Glory looks like recognition to the Spirit. It looks like surrender. You are being called to carry something sacred, and the price for that privilege is separation. There was a prophet once, Elisha, who followed Elijah through every test, every moment of exhaustion, every invitation to quit. Others stopped along the way, but he stayed. And when the chariot of fire appeared, the mantle of glory fell on the one who endured. That same principle lives today. Glory always chooses the faithful, not the famous. The voice of God thundered in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. Every hardship you've endured is not wasted pain, it's preparation. Heaven measures you not by how loudly you worship, but by how quietly you remain faithful when no one's watching. Each unseen act of obedience adds another layer of strength to your spirit, making it sturdy enough to sustain the weight of divine purpose. Carrying glory means learning to walk with stillness in chaos. It means understanding that applause and opposition are equally dangerous if they shift your focus. It means your yes to God must stay louder than your desire for comfort. You are being entrusted with revelation others may not yet grasp. That's why misunderstanding surrounds you. Glory always isolates before it elevates. Before God reveals you publicly, He hides you privately to refine your motives, sharpen your hearing, and purify your intentions. Think of the moon. It shines only because it reflects the sun. On its own, it has no light. The moment it turns away, it darkens. That's you. You carry light, not because of who you are, but because of who you reflect. Glory has never been yours to own. It has always been His to share. This is the cost of carrying it. You must live aware of both power and fragility. Power, because His Spirit flows through you. Fragility, because you know that without Him, the light fades. True carriers of glory never boast, they bow. They understand that to be used by heaven is not a right, but a mercy. Sometimes, the weight will feel unbearable. You'll want to set it down, blend in, and be ordinary again. But every time you try, something in you aches, because your spirit remembers you were made for more. The call cannot be undone. Carrying glory means you must handle rejection without resentment and blessings without pride. It's learning to keep your hands open, never clinging to praise, never fearing loss. The same hands that receive must be ready to release, because glory flows. It never settles. There will be nights when you cry under the invisible pressure of calling. Heaven sees those tears. They water your assignment. There will be mornings when the anointing feels heavy, like armor too big for your shoulders. But remember, you are growing into it. God doesn't place glory on those who are ready. He places it on those who are willing. Your life is becoming a mirror for heaven's reflection. Every choice, every battle, every yes is polishing that mirror. Soon, when others look at you, they won't just see a person, they'll glimpse presence. That's what glory looks like when it lives in flesh. Humility wrapped around holiness. Don't despise the cost. You are not paying for the glory, you are being prepared to protect it. And one day, you'll understand why the journey had to be narrow, why the weight had to be heavy, why the nights had to be long. Because when the moment of unveiling comes, you'll realize the cost was worth it. Glory will rest on you, not as burden, but as belonging. And you'll stand there, quiet, shining, unshaken, knowing this truth. Everything you carried was never for you alone, but for every soul heaven will touch through your obedience. The war you cannot see is often the fiercest one. Behind the moments of stillness, behind the sudden heaviness in your spirit or the unexplainable waves of weariness, battles rage in realms beyond your sight. You sense it, don't you? Those days when nothing in the natural explains the pressure you feel, because what's pressing against you is not flesh and blood, but darkness that fears your light. The spiritual realm is not fantasy, it is foundation. Every choice you make, every word you speak, every thought you entertain, ripples through that unseen dimension. And right now, as you walk this narrow road of obedience, heaven's armies are engaged on your behalf. When God marks a life, the enemy marks it too. You have felt the crossfire of that truth. The attacks didn't begin because you were weak. They began because you became a threat. Darkness doesn't waste energy on the indifferent. It strikes at those carrying something that could change the atmosphere. That's why your warfare has been so personal. But take heart, the battle does not expose your vulnerability. It reveals your value. The enemy doesn't attack what has no potential. He attacks what carries the promise of influence. As was spoken in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places." These words are not poetic, they are prophetic. They pull back the veil, reminding you that what you're fighting is not people but patterns, not visible opponents, but invisible resistance. The good news: you are not fighting alone. You were never meant to. The very moment you whisper his name, angels move. The instant you choose forgiveness over anger, light pushes back the darkness. Every act of obedience becomes a weapon, sharper than any sword, stronger than any curse. You are not merely surviving the war, you are shaping it. Your worship confuses the enemy because it turns pain into power. Your endurance frustrates the kingdom of darkness because every time you rise again, you declare that heaven still reigns. There are nights when heaven fights in silence. You don't see the victory yet, but you feel the exhaustion that comes after battle. That's because angels have been working while you sleep, warring over your name, guarding the words God spoke over your life. If you could see what is happening around you right now, the light gathering, the enemy retreating, the prayers forming walls of fire, you would rest easier. Heaven's defense is not delayed, it's deliberate. The outcome has already been decreed. Remember Daniel. His prayer was heard the moment he spoke. Yet the angel's arrival was delayed by opposition in the heavens, but the answer still came. That story is your story too. Just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. The resistance proves how powerful your assignment truly is. Every spiritual war refines the warrior. You are learning to fight differently now, not with panic, but with presence. You're discovering that silence can be strategy, and patience can be a weapon. The enemy will try to lure you into distraction or despair, but your discernment is your shield. Recognize that not every problem needs reaction. Some battles are won by staying still. When your heart stays anchored in peace, confusion loses its grip. Think of yourself as a fortress lit from within. Storms can strike, arrows can fly, but as long as the flame burns inside, darkness cannot enter. That flame is faith, small yet unextinguishable. The Spirit has been training you quietly, teaching you how to recognize attacks before they manifest. Those sudden waves of fear, those heavy mornings, those unexpected doubts, they're not random. They are tremors of a world trying to shake your foundation. But you, chosen one, were built on the rock. You may bend, but you will not break. This war will not destroy you, it will define you. Every scar will become a strategy. Every wound, a weapon forged in wisdom. You will not only survive, you will see others delivered because of your endurance. The unseen realm trembles when you believe, despite pressure, because faith, when tested, releases authority. You are learning to command the atmosphere, not be controlled by it. So, keep standing, keep praying, keep walking in light, even when shadows move close. For every step you take in faith, heaven moves on your behalf. The war in the spirit realm is fierce. Yes, but victory is already written in your favor. Your voice must rise. Not the voice of noise or argument, but the voice of truth, forged through fire and silence. You've walked through shadows long enough. Now, heaven calls you to speak, not for attention, but for awakening. What's inside you is not meant to stay hidden. The words you've buried in fear may be the very light someone else is praying for. You've seen too much to stay quiet. You've experienced too much grace to remain unseen. Your story is sacred currency. It carries freedom for others. When you speak, chain loosen. when you share. Hearts, remember hope. This isn't about shouting louder, it's about speaking purer. The world is overflowing with words, but starving for truth. Heaven isn't asking you to be eloquent, only to be honest. Because in a time when everyone is performing, authenticity is the rarest anointing. You may think your story is too small, too ordinary, too flawed. But that's the lie that keeps testimonies locked behind fear. The truth is, the cracks in your voice are proof that it has survived storms. The tremble in your words is evidence of encounter. People don't need perfection, they need presence. There was a man who once hid his gift because he feared rejection. Years later, he realized silence had become a cage. When he finally spoke, others began to heal. That's how powerful truth is. It multiplies freedom. According to what is revealed in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This verse isn't suggestion, it's a summons. It's heaven saying, stand up, use your light. Don't bury what I've ignited. The time for hesitation is over. The earth groans for voices like yours, voices drenched in sincerity, marked by mercy, anchored in grace. And when you speak, let it come from love, not from needing to be right. Love disarms. Love restores. Love makes truth bearable. Your voice is not a weapon to wound, it's a bridge to bring others home. That's why spaces like this exist, to gather the scattered embers and turn them into one flame. Every word spoken here is meant to remind you of what you already carry. The goal isn't followers, it's fellowship. The mission isn't views, it's visibility for heaven's heart. Now, if these words stir something deep in you, if you feel that tug inside, pause for a second. That's heaven nudging you to act. Not out of pressure, but partnership. When you like this message, it's not just approval, it's alignment. It's you whispering, I hear you. Lord, I'm still listening. Each click becomes a spark added to the collective fire of faith. And when you share, imagine yourself as a messenger bird released into the sky. You don't know where it will land, but you know it will find someone in the dark who needs light. Sharing isn't about spreading a post, it's about extending a hand across the void. If your spirit feels at home here, you can subscribe, but see it differently, not as following a channel, but as stepping into a family of flames. It's like choosing to stay near a campfire because it keeps your heart warm and your faith awake. And if you ever feel moved to go further, to donate, to sow a seed into what nourishes, you think of it not as giving away, but as building with. Every offering becomes a brick in this invisible cathedral of light, a place where heaven meets earth through words. And maybe, before you leave, write a few words below. A simple comment, one born from the heart. Let it be your echo in the sanctuary of this space. Every genuine word written here is like a small bell ringing through eternity, saying, I was here. I believed again. Nothing here is demanded. Nothing is owed. Every act, whether a click, a share, a prayer, or a seed, is sacred when done willingly. This isn't about funding a message, it's about fueling movement. You are not supporting me, you are supporting every voice that's still afraid to rise until they see yours. Your engagement is echo. Your kindness is ripple. Your generosity is river. Each flows farther than you'll ever know. And if today all you can give is your presence, that is more than enough. Just being here, listening, breathing, and believing again, that's already obedience. Heaven counts that as participation, so speak. Chosen one, use your words to awaken hearts, to steady souls, to rebuild faith where it's fallen. Let your life become a sermon the world can feel, because every like is a spark, every share a torch, every comment a bell, every subscription a circle of warmth, and every donation a brick of light. Together, we're not building a platform, we're building a lighthouse for lost ones. Your voice is not too small. Heaven hears it, and when it rises, the world will too. There is a peace that doesn't depend on answers, a stillness born not from clarity, but from trust. That's where God is leading you now, beyond striving, beyond fixing, beyond needing to know why. This peace is not fragile, it is forged. It is the calm that follows surrender. You've spent seasons trying to make sense of what broke you. You've replayed memories, searched for logic in loss, tried to piece together purpose from pain. But heaven's wisdom isn't always found in explanations, it's often found in rest. God doesn't owe you reasons. He offers you relationship. To rest in His sovereignty is not to give up, it's to give in to the current that knows where it's going. Faith at its highest level is not shouting, not striving, but breathing, even here, even now. I trust you. On. Peace is not found in the absence of storms, but in the awareness of presence. When Jesus slept in the boat while the waves roared, He wasn't ignoring danger, He was demonstrating dominion. The storm was still there, but fear had no authority in His rest. That same peace is being extended to you. As written in the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." That verse doesn't deny the reality of pain, it declares victory within it. Jesus didn't promise escape, He promised endurance. He didn't say you'd avoid storms, He said you'd outlast them. Peace, then, is not about calm waters, but about unshakable trust in the one who walks on them. You've done enough striving. You've carried more than your portion. The strength that once felt noble now feels heavy. That's not weakness, that's invitation. God is teaching you to fight differently. The next victory will not come through effort, but through ease, through abiding instead of analyzing. Think of a bird resting on a branch. Its trust isn't in the wood beneath its feet, but in the wings it knows how to use. That's what peace feels like, security that doesn't depend on circumstance. You are learning that calm is not laziness, it's clarity. When your spirit quiets, heaven's voice becomes audible again. The whispers that were lost in chaos begin to return. Direction becomes obvious, not because you discovered it, but because you stopped drowning it in noise. There's a shift happening in you now. The anxiety that once ruled your mornings is losing ground. The pressure to prove, to produce, to please, it's breaking. You no longer need to rush what God has already finished. Peace is the proof of trust. It doesn't mean you understand everything. It means you've chosen to believe anyway. And once peace takes root, fear becomes a foreign language. You no longer speak fluently. The world will always demand urgency, but heaven works through rhythm. Seasons of stillness are not delays, they're deposits. Every time you rest in Him, He restores what striving drained. You don't lose ground by pausing. You regain perspective. Look back, hasn't He carried you through every uncertain step? The same God who sustained you in storms will not abandon you in calm. His record is perfect. Even when your sight isn't, the peace God gives isn't passive. It's protective. It guards your mind from panic, your heart from despair, your hope from corrosion. It's the armor of those who trust more than they see. You are entering that peace now, not as visitor, but as resident. It will not always look emotional. Sometimes it will look like quiet confidence, the ability to smile without knowing the outcome. It will feel like exhale after years of holding your breath. Don't fear stillness. It's not emptiness. It's evidence that the war inside you has ended. The voices that once accused now fade under the sound of assurance. The ground beneath you steadies. The horizon clears. You don't have to chase what's already yours. Peace is not something to find. It's something to remember. It was in you from the beginning, waiting for permission to surface. So breathe deeper now. Let the worries loosen their hold. The God who overcame the world is still overcoming within you. You are safe, seen, and surrounded. This is the calm after battle, the silence after victory, the sacred pause before new beginnings. You are no longer surviving the storm. You are standing in the sunlight that follows it. And in that light, you finally understand. Peace was never the reward for having it all figured out. It was the promise of the one who already won. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when understanding turns into awe. You stop trying to make sense of everything that happened, the losses, the delays, the detours, and instead, you begin to see the thread of grace running through it all. You realize nothing was wasted. Even the tears became tools in the hands of heaven. You've spent so much of your life learning to survive. But now, God is teaching you to live fully, freely, fearlessly. The old version of you that operated in constant defense is gone. In its place stands someone refined by fire and ready to carry light without apology. Everything you walked through has brought you here not to the end, but to the beginning of understanding. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Heaven was carving out capacity, stretching your faith so it could hold glory. There's a quiet strength that comes after the storm, the kind that doesn't shout but simply is. You carry it now. It's visible in your eyes, in the way you walk, in how you no longer rush the process. The peace inside you no longer depends on outcomes, it depends on presence. We find in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." That verse isn't cliché, it's code. It means every chapter, even the painful ones, is part of a perfect script. God didn't cause all things, but He's using all things. The very stones that once tripped you are now becoming the steps that lift you higher. You were never walking aimlessly. You were walking through alignment. The detours were disguised directions. The delays were divine designs. The unanswered prayers were heaven's way of editing your destiny to fit eternity's plan. You may not have recognized it, but every time you thought you were breaking, something holy was being built inside you. When you were forced to let go, you learned trust. When you faced silence, you learned to listen. When everything fell apart, you discovered that God never did. Now, Your faith no longer trembles under pressure. It breathes. It stands. It smiles in storms, because it remembers every time you thought it was over. Grace began again. The refining has birthed resilience. The pain has produced purity. You've learned that endurance is its own kind of praise. And in that endurance, you've become unshakable, not because life grew easier, but because your roots grew deeper. You are walking into a new rhythm now, not driven by fear of missing out, but drawn by faith in divine timing. The world may rush, but heaven moves in measures, not minutes. What's meant for you doesn't require striving. It simply waits for your readiness. The future no longer intimidates you, because you finally trust the author. You don't need to know every next step. You only need to stay in step. Destiny doesn't demand speed. It demands steadiness. And as you step forward, notice how your heart feels lighter. The burdens that once defined you no longer fit. You've shed them like old garments, trading them for garments of praise. Your story no longer smells like smoke. Even though you've walked through fire, there's something radiant about people who've met pain and found peace. They glow differently. You are that light now, the proof that broken things still shine, that crushed hearts can still carry heaven's fragrance. This is the quiet aftermath of transformation. There are no trumpets, no spotlight, just stillness and the deep knowing that you've changed. You no longer need to announce it. Your presence testifies louder than words. Every scar tells a story that hell regrets allowing to happen. Every healed wound becomes a doorway for someone else's hope. That's why you survived, to be living evidence that grace works, that faith restores, that love still wins. Look around you now. The storm has passed. The battlefield has gone silent, and standing in the middle of the calm is you, stronger, softer, wiser. The one who once asked, "Why me?" now whispers, "Thank you." Oh, this is not the end of your story. It's the proof that endings don't exist for those who walk with God. Every finish line is just a new beginning, wrapped in peace. So, walk forward, not to escape your past, but to embody your purpose. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. The journey was long, but it was holy. And now, as heaven watches, you step into the fullness of your calling, no longer striving, no longer searching, simply shining. Because this is what happens when a chosen one endures. They don't just survive history, they make it sacred. And now, the journey rests here, not in an ending, but in a beginning disguised as stillness. You've walked through storms and light, through silence and song, and somehow, your heart is still open. You have become what heaven always intended, proof that love can survive anything. If these words found you at the right time, let them linger a little longer. When you like this message, it isn't just a click, it's a pulse of agreement. It's the sound of your spirit whispering, "I receive this peace." Each like becomes a candle added to the altar of shared faith. Small but shining. And if you feel moved, share it, not as routine, but as release. Imagine releasing a dove into the horizon, its wings carrying light towards someone still sitting in the dark. Someone praying for a sign and not realizing, this may be it. Your share becomes a silent rescue. Before you leave, take a moment to comment. Let your words be your offering. A line, a thought, a heartbeat left behind in the sand of this sacred space. may be right. I'm still standing. Or, peace found me here. Every honest comment becomes a thread woven into this tapestry of faith, connecting souls who've never met but share the same story of redemption. If you wish to stay close to this flame, you can subscribe. But think of it not as following a channel, it's more like joining a circle of light. Each subscriber adds another log to the fire, keeping warmth alive for those who will gather here tomorrow, seeking the same hope that found you today. And if your heart leads you further, you may donate, not out of duty, but as devotion. Picture this space as a living lighthouse by the sea. Every gift you sow becomes another beam of light reaching farther into the fog. You're not paying for words, you're helping build a haven for hearts that forgot how to believe. Whatever you choose, whether it's a click, a share, a word, or a prayer, know that heaven sees it. Nothing done in light is ever lost. So breathe once more. Let this peace stay with you. Let it travel through your actions, your kindness, your courage. You are not leaving this message, you are carrying it into the world. And that, chosen one, is how light multiplies quietly, willingly, endlessly.